Listen to me. We don't want to kill any of you. But trust me, we will. Wake them up a little!
This whole thing is pretty much done. We're more ghosts than people.
You have got to keep faith. They will not crush us.
Good old Dutch. My best friend. You know how we met? Pair of hucksters trying to rob each other. Back in 78 or thereabouts.
You have to love yourself a fire. It's one of the blessings. Sure, we can have fire. And we can have the knowledge of fire. But with that comes the knowledge of everything. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a robbery.
Sons of Dutch. Makes us brothers. Sometimes brothers make mistakes.
You'll never change. I know that.
All of you venerate savagery. And you will die savagely.
Get out here! Stay strong. Stay with me.
All right. Welcome to, I believe this is chapter 15, I want to say, of Handy with the Steel. Today we have with me Bo as Bill Tucker, Sim as Arthur, and Ghost as the Doc. Alright, just to keep things straight, I always show the paper to show what day it is. It is Friday, May 7th, 1866. I don't think any of you have seen this yet, so I'll go through it. The main headline is Gundy laid to rest. Sheriff Gunderson was laid to rest Thursday afternoon. Reverend Carson's words were fitting and kind. The whole town commiserated to see off this affable servant of the law. Notable speakers were Bill Tucker and Kate, the Madam of the Jewel. Next of kin has been wired in Texas. Please respectfully mourn our fallen sheriff in your own way. Captain Eugene Walker preparing expedition for justice. Captain Walker, the Buffalo Soldier officer, told this reporter that he and his men are preparing an expedition south to drive out the foul, murdering Injuns. Let's say a prayer in hopes this expedition is successful. Bill Tucker is appointed sheriff. Bill Tucker, former deputy to both Mayor Hill and Sheriff Gunderson, was made sheriff after the passing of Gundy. It is unknown if Mr. Tucker will seek re-election or election in the months to come. Let us all wish well to this newly appointed sheriff. And then there's a picture of Bill. All right. The scene is going to switch here. It is midday. And I need to be on the right screen. It's midday, or close to it. Bill's preparing an expedition out of town, but needed to round up one person at least to go with him. Here we're in the Saints Hotel. Happens to be that's where Arthur is and the doctor. There's also two Buffalo soldiers at the bar drinking already. And Bill walks in. You guys can set the scene of what this looks like.
What time of day is it again?
Oh, 11, 12, something like that.
Throughout the front of the saloon, there's a creak here, and in steps Bill Tucker, and the doors kind of shut behind him. He kind of takes a few steps in, his boots click-clacking on the wood floor, and takes off his hat real quick and beats it with his left hand. Little plumes of dust fly out of it. kind of puts it on and slowly makes his way over to the bar there. And then he sees Arthur. Art, good to see you, sir. How you doing this fine morning?
Arthur sipping the whiskey. Ah, Sheriff, good to see you as well. He'll tip his hat. I'm doing mighty fine so far. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, doing good. Just coming over here to have myself a little bit of second breakfast. Looks like you and them Buffalo soldiers there are early on the sauce, Art. We got a job to do here.
No, it's not much. Just a little hair of the dog, some may say.
Yeah. Steady the hands, huh?
Yeah, get rid of the headache.
He kind of sidles up to the bar there and looks at Bonnie. Hey there, sweetheart. I'll have something a little more wholesome for myself. How about you get me a couple of them pickles pig's feet in the back and a couple slices of bacon?
She looks up to you and nods. Of course, Sheriff. She looks over the bar at the doc. Are you ready for another drink before I go?
And Dr. Darrow is sitting there drinking. I don't even know if Irish coffee existed at this time. But he's just sitting over there. There you go. Sure, Irish coffee. Taking a swing of it. Push it over. Yeah, love. Just going to go ahead and continue reading the paper. This should suffice. Thank you very much.
She nods, smiles, and kind of passes the Buffalo soldiers, and one of them reaches out. I'll take another one, darling. And she stops for a moment and pours a little shot of whiskey and then heads back into the back.
And the doc is sitting on Bill's right, and he can see that he still has that kind of bandage. There's a piece of off-white linen that kind of is wrapped around his head, coming down from his hat over his right ear. A little bit of dried blood there still on it from his run-in with the engines.
Sheriff Tucker, how's that healing up?
Well, kind of puts his head to the wound, and it comes away fairly clean. There's a little dry blood there. So, well, it doesn't look like it's taken to festering. I thank you for that, Doc.
Oh, payment from the county was thanks enough, but you're welcome. And he takes a drink of the coffee and continues reading over some notebooks that he has.
So are you kind of at the bar there? Or?
Yeah, Darrow's at the bar. He's leaned back in one of those... he's kind of sitting back in the stool looking at just some medical notebooks that he has. You're not sure what's in them offhand, but he's looking through it, drinking his coffee.
Mm-hmm. And is this the day after the funeral then?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Bill kind of looks around at the Buffalo soldiers and down at the doctor again. So, them two boys at the end of the bar, what do you think? You know, there are a lot of folks in this town that don't like them in and out of the town, and, well, there's a lot of folks that have been accusing them of starting this mess that ended up with Gundy 6 feet under.
Is there? I've not been one to pay much attention to the prattling of most townsfolk, but looks over and looks back. To be fair to him, a lot of people say the same thing about my kind when they come through. That we're no good for business, we cause trouble. I say they're good for my business. Soldiers means fighting, fighting means wounds, wounds means money.
I suppose you're right. Then again, I was meant to chastise them about drinking so early in the morning, but here I am with you tipping back and That don't smell like coffee to me, and old Art's in the corner there pounding them back too, so I suppose temperance isn't the order of the day. Well, suppose I ought to put the spurs up and head on over and talk to these boys. I know that old Kate down in the saloon, she has quite a bone to pick with them, and yeah, I'd just as soon have to talk man to man than have her wind her way into thing like the snake she is.
I would say it's the best strategy to do it and take. She is a bit of a wild one, isn't she?
Yeah, she's nice enough, but yeah, she has a way with words. I'm a simple man, Doc. I let this do the talking as often as not. Kind of pats his sidearm on his belt.
Well, just some friendly advice, Sheriff Tucker. Remember that Kate is nice when it suits her.
As are we all, Doc. As are we all.
Doc nods and takes another swig of his coffee.
And he walks over to Buffalo Soldier number 1. Bill introduces himself. Now, was Tuck there? I'm trying to remember if
Yeah,
Tucker...
you were there when they first came into town, yeah.
Was the sheriff there?
You were not the sheriff. The sheriff?
No,
I
Grundy
don't
was.
think he was, no.
All right, so he comes in and kind of gets the tip of his hat and says, "Morning, boys."
They both look towards you. The older fella who had introduced himself the other day. Oh, hello there. You're the new sheriff now, huh?
Indeed I am. At least that's what this badge says. Brand new, although I can't say much about how I came across the position. I'm sure you heard the news about Sheriff Gunderson.
I sure did. Yeah, we're gonna take care of some of that, no doubt. Gonna go out and get us some scalps from the scalpers.
That's what I wanted to talk to you about, boys. I saw you ride into town a couple days back with that brave slung across your horse like so much firewood. Tell me about that situation.
Well, came across him on the road. We're out scavenging food. Doing just a little riding in the woods. Injun, he's there. Put up a fight. Got a bullet.
Yeah, I can't much fault you for that. Head out on the outskirts of town into those forests and woods. You'll never know what you're going to run across. Problem is, a lot of folks around here say you done kicked over the hornet's nest with that there brave. Now, I don't disagree with you. Only good engine is a dead engine as far as I'm concerned. But if you're going to plan to go out and cause more mayhem, well, I think that's something that you and me maybe need to talk about.
Well, I'm fine sitting here. Not why I'm here is to fight engines. I'm here to find a fella. But
No?
they ain't found him yet.
Yeah, seems like we have two situations to talk about. One of the law and one about peacekeeping in this here town. Now, how many boys you have with you riding up here?
Oh, there's 8 of us right now.
8 young men away from home, away from their wives, and away from any women of your kind. I suppose it's hard to find solace in the women of this town. I suppose you boys need to keep busy, so let's give you something to do. Tell me about this other query you're after.
He pulls out a handbill from his jacket and passes it to the corporal, who then passes it to you. Name Joe Connor. Called him Sticky Joe. I think the madam knows where he is. When we were talking, she was... Well, I believe she's fibbing to me a bit. Not sure. Can't find him otherwise, but I think he's around.
Is that so? Is that so? Bill looks over to the dock and he kind of looks across the bar towards Arthur and kind of gives the old, the old head nod to come join him at the bar.
Arthur take one sip of his whiskey, look over and see Sheriff nodding at him. He's gonna nod back and finish his drink off and stand up. And he'll mosey his way over there.
Hey, Art, Doc, you seen this here feller?
Doc will put some glasses up to his eyes and look at it. No, can't rightly say I have.
Yeah, I don't think it rings a bell. I haven't seen anybody like that around here lately.
Yeah, one other thing I've been noticing, we've been posting this bill all over town, and, well, those bills are going bye-bye. Somebody's taking them down.
I reckon you got someone in mind who's been doing that then.
Well, I put two and two together. I think the madam's lying to me and the bills are going down, so reckon it's her doing, maybe.
Bill looks deep in thought as he's kind of looking at that bill, and he reaches up with his left hand and strokes his mustache. Something about this man looks familiar to me.
Well, I
Can't be
could
100%
certainly use your help there, Sheriff. You point me in a direction, you can collect that bounty. $500.
$500. Well, that bounty be going right back to the town of LeClaire. If I caught the guy, what you after? What's he charged with?
The bill says cattle rustling. Seems a little steep for cattle rustling, though. And that there's 8 buffalo soldiers after him. It's kind of seems a little peculiar.
Mm-hmm. Just asking, what was it? Corporal, I guess.
There's a corporal and there's a captain. The captain's talking.
Yeah, it's just asking you, Captain. Seems odd to send 8 men, 8 buffalo soldiers after this here villain. Seems mighty extraordinary to me.
Well, our unit, the Buffalo Soldiers as they call us, we ain't much in demand quite yet. War's just ended and all, and, well, the blackness of my skin, unfortunately, puts me on tasks such as this instead of preserving our union. But, catching this lawbreaker's good enough for now.
Alright, so we gotta catch this lawbreaker and we gotta find your boys something to do in the meantime. Besides running around on the outskirts of town stirring up trouble with the engines.
Well, alright, I'm fine with that. I don't need to go out there and cause any trouble. If that's what you want me to do, we're happy to sit right here and drink some whiskey and find this Joe when he shows up.
You'll be the first person to know if I got a lead, Captain. In the meantime, I think I got some work that your boys might be interested in. Keep them occupied and maybe they can make $1 or 2 out here.
What's that?
I'm gonna. What's the mayor's name?
David Hill.
David.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to the mayor. There's no no shortage of new construction going on in LeClaire, and I believe even the madam has in mind to build a sort of civic center. Now, I know, this will be paid labor, not, the other kind. But keep your boys out in the sun, keep them busy, keep them swinging a hammer.
Well, if it's honest day's wage, I don't see a problem with it. Idle hands ain't so good.
No, they ain't. They ain't making no promises. Now, I do recognize y'all as the free men you are, but I do say the opinions diverge quite a bit here in town. I talk to the mayor, see what I can work out.
Well, you pay us fair, and we can erect some buildings for you. No problem.
All right. Hey, can I keep this here? And he looks at the bill. I assure you, it's not going to go missing from my back pocket.
Oh, no problem. We got plenty.
And he kind of puts it in his back pocket and fixes it in his mind. Something about the face seems quite familiar and reminds him of a figure that was skulking about back when they were at the Dunn Manor. Yesterday, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, Eugene's like, well, if you do see him, you let me know. We'll take him off your hands. No problem. Dead or alive, if you kill him. I prefer alive, but dead's dead.
Money's money, Captain.
Well, yeah. We can get that money to you pronto. All we need to do is make a wire to Cheyenne up there, and they'll release it from the bank, and it'll be all yours, or the town of LeClaire, whatever you see fit.
And by this time, Bill's double pork entree, slices of bacon, and pickled pig feet have maybe arrives. And
Yeah, Bonnie comes back to the bar and looks. She's got the plate. Where do you want this, Sheriff?
Oh, right here, man. I'll make short work of it. I have a long day's work ahead of me.
She nods and just sits it down. And anything else for you?
That'll be it, sweetheart. Oh, maybe a glass of iced tea. You got that?
Oh, I see what I can do.
All right.
She walks over to the side of the bar and gets a tea bag and puts it in water and all that stuff.
You hear that, Art? I got a long day's work ahead of me. What do you got ahead of you, son?
Oh, more of the usual. I think I'll be doing another shot of whiskey and then heading down towards those mines down there.
And he kind of lowers his voice and scoots away from the soldiers. Well, I suppose as long as I'm handing out promises for money, why don't you think about accompanying me today? Make it worth your while.
Well, I guess I could go out and enjoy some of the fresh air. I don't reckon they need me down at the mines today too bad.
Yeah, as my papa used to say back in Cuyahoga County, Ohio, that whiskey's going to taste a lot better after a long days of honest work, Arthur.
Well, it all depends on how you define honest, I guess. Sometimes it leaves a bitter taste to the whiskey.
Well, I'll be heading out on the trail. It's supposed to be a fine day. Looking for this missing gentleman that was supposed to do that deal on the Dunn mine. In fact, some surmise he might be hurt. How about you, Doc? Got any patients on your list today, or are you going to sit here and caffeinate yourself?
No patience on my list, but if it sounds like there's going to be some work to be done, there might be some money to be made. I suppose I shall accompany you, gentlemen, if you'll have me.
Yeah. The once peaceful Leclerc has broken out into violence like some sort of French pox. So, if things keep going the way they are, yeah, that missing gentleman will be in quite a bad way when we find him. Exposed to the elements, at the very least.
Well, I'll get my bag and see what we can do, but I make no promises till I see the patient, if there is a patient left, of course.
Yep. And Bill kind of takes a notepad out from a pocket in his duster. And looks at it. It says TT on there. Yep. Gentleman's name is Taggert Thompson. Been missing a few days, so yeah, we'll see what we can come up with. I'm not fixing to have another funeral.
True. And how far are we expecting to be traveling today, out of curiosity?
It's not that far. It would be just basically just out of town, in between the two manors. There's some woods in between, like the Preston Manor and where his mine is. So it's on the foothills, but it might be the day.
Yeah. No need to pack your bags like you're going back home, Dr. Darrow, but we'll be out there well past midday, maybe into the evening. I want to prepare for a long day's ride and some rough terrain.
I've got my overcoat here. I just reckon I would need to go ahead and get the travel rations with the jerky, maybe.
Absolutely.
Bonnie just pipes up. We have some here. Just 5 bits apiece. She smiles.
Capital! I'll take some.
Yeah. Them pig's feet keep might well, too. Been soaking in brine nigh on a week.
Arthur would perk up. Yeah, since you're traveling, instead of passing out some rations there, I'll take some as well.
She smiles as everybody appears that they're going to take some food for the road. Well, just give me a few minutes, boys, and I'll get it all ready for you.
Thanks, Bonnie. You have a blessed day, sweetie.
You too. Sheriff, have you seen Nelson about?
Not since the funeral and our trip to Miss Dunn's house. Why, Bonnie?
Oh, he said he was going to call on me, and I just hoping he's not getting sweet on another girl.
Yeah, that Nellie. Yeah, if I see him, I'll tell him to head your way. But you know how young men are.
She nods. Yeah. Well, let me get this ready for you. She goes about collecting the food, and she wraps it up in like a large cloth, essentially. Ties the top of it and sits it on the bar.
Yeah, Bill takes it and hands it to Doc and Arthur. Well, I suppose we go ahead and saddle up. If you're aiming to drink any more whiskey tonight, Arthur, it's just as soon we get on the road so we can get back before it gets too dark.
Yes. Suppose we ought to get moving. With that, he grab his food and kind of step away from the bar a little bit, waiting to see when the sheriff's ready to head out.
Dr. Darrell will stuff his jerky into a separate bag from his medical bag, making sure things divvied up nice and proper, and then we'll grab his hat from the counter, overcoat from the back of the chair, and well, let's get to it then.
All right. Head outside. the town seems pretty subdued at the moment. Not much is going on. People have been staying inside a lot since the Indian attack and since the Buffalo Soldiers have been there. There's been a string of violence, as Tucker alluded to, with at least one gunfight in the street. Yes, Bo, that was Arthur with you for that one. And so they've been pretty much staying out of sight as much as possible. There's, flux of miners coming back and forth, mostly to go to the Jewel. But otherwise, there's been a high rate of tension over the last few days, particularly after the death of Gundy. So you are able to pass through town without any kind of excitement whatsoever and start out onto the road. Get you over there. If you have any roleplay you want to do amongst yourself, you may.
Now, Bill is kind of at the head of the column, looks back to Arthur and says, "Oh, damn it, Art." Getting flashbacks.
Now, hopefully there ain't no blizzard that comes through. And truly, I should have them too.
Yeah, if that's the case, we should just go ahead and turn back. We know how that last time on the road turned out. Now we got somebody with us this time, though, that has a decent head on his shoulders. Ain't that right, Doc?
And he pulled a pipe from his mouth and... Well, it depends on what we're referring to. My taste in women, I've been told, is rather inebriated. But in regards to other methods, yes, I'm quite capable.
That's all we ask, Doc. Well, let's see if we can find this gentleman.
I will speak up, pipe up, should say, for you gentlemen. One small factor. I am not much of a fighting man, so should there be trouble, I hope you expect not much from me.
Well, sometimes an extra person is just as good.
Right. Nonetheless, if possible, I will likely refrain from hostilities unless absolutely necessary.
Now, don't worry, Doc. Art here has enough balls for the both of us.
Arthur kind of smile. Well, as long as we don't run into them engines again.
Yeah, it was your bravery, Art. That's why we're still here. I think Gundy, he just wasn't a lucky man that day. Came across that brave leader, and, well, we know how it ended. This gets me to thinking, Art, I'm sheriff now. We're a man down. I don't think you are in need of some sort of gainful employment. Can't slink around the saloon all day, drowning your memories and your sorrows in a bottle of whiskey. Can you?
Well, there was that offer at the mine that I was eventually going to re-inquire about, but so far the whiskey has been proven pretty fruitful.
A lot of people have been dying around those mines lately, Art. I don't see their names in the newspaper. But die in the line of duty and you'll be forever glorified in the bright, bold headlines of the LeClaire Gazette.
Oh, yeah, well, I've seen plenty of people end up in some paper. Back east in Kansas, I used to be a sheriff as well.
Oh, yeah.
Not much gainful employment, though, considering that the town has to be fruitful enough to be able to pay the bills.
Here we go, Dr. Darrow. Right here, Arthur. A diamond in the rough. A man with bravery and expertise and experience.
True. He sounds like a right proper lad. takes a draw from his pipe.
How about we deputize you as soon as we get back from here, Arthur?
Well, Sheriff, that's mighty nice of you, but I'm just not sure I want to get back in that game.
All right, well, in that case, why don't you ride on towards the front of the column here and scout up ahead. He kind of jokes and spurs his horse. Yeah!
You guys head on down the road. The road begins to bend and head into the mountains, and you have a general idea of where this guy might be, but not exactly. Obviously, you know it's somewhere between the Preston estate and his mine. So that's really what you know. Let me get you over to.
Yeah, so Bill's going to be kind of riding along as the sun starts to rise overhead, and kind of scout out the terrain. He's looking, reading signs of nature for anything going on, like looking for buzzards circling or other carrion birds or scavengers.
Yeah, why don't you give me a survival? Anybody can that wants to.
That's
That'd be
probably
the-
under.
That is under intelligence.
Right.
I believe this didn't work out too well for me
Oh,
last time.
You gotta select by token. Oops.
Not bad. Not bad for rolling one die.
Didn't forget my coat this time.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
see? Good head on the shoulders there.
After a while, you catch a small trail that probably connects to the Preston estate to the mines in general, as the Prestons are owners of several mines in the area. The trail is pretty well laid out, and not a lot of overgrowth and that sort of thing. You see plenty of traffic on that mine, or on that path, and as you're kind of following it, you do see there what you appear to be wagon tracks leading off of it, and kind of where the soft ground is there now after the melt of the snow a couple days earlier. It's kind of muddy. It would probably seem weird that there would be a cart heading off the trail at this point.
I'll let Dr. Darrow notice that.
And the doctor is there known about for a moment. He notices it. He said it was a wagon trail off
Yeah,
the, off the road.
it looks like there's a wagon trail off the road.
Sheriff,
Yep, Doc.
I'll be completely upfront. I'm not particularly skilled necessarily in these matters of investigation, but isn't it rather queer for something like this to be happening with a cart trail going off path?
Bill Tucker wheels his horse around. Yeah. Attaboy, kind of brings him up. Clip, clop, clip, clop. He looks down at the soft earth and the impressions of the wagon wheels, and his eyes kind of follow the tracks off into the woods, disappearing through the brush. You're damn straight, Doc. Any sort of wagon go off trail like this, you're just asking to get stuck, asking to get a broken axle. I find this to be highly irregular. And just checking his weapon, kind of removes it from his belt and spins the barrel and puts it back in his belt just to make sure. Hey, Art, come take a look at this.
I'll be. Who would drive a cart out through this nonsense?
Well, either something went horribly wrong or there was a female driving this wagon.
Yeah, either case, I think both cases might be the same.
Either way, there's a job for us to do. There's criminal activity or there's a damsel in distress. Arthur, since you don't want to be back in the game, I guess you could stay back here like a coward, or you could lead the way.
Now, I don't think I'd be much cowardice over here. So far, it's just a couple tracks going off into the wilderness over here. I'll lead the way.
Bill will kind of lead the trail behind Arthur, and he searches the forests, scanning for anything unusual, any further tracks, wagon wreckage, anything like that.
Go ahead and give me a perception roll.
Perception, senses, probably. Yep.
Oh yeah. Along, you see fresher tracks that are horse hooves, 2 sets at least.
Well, hold up here, boys. And this is like kind of off, not from the wagon, right? Like different from like the wagon tracks.
They head over the wagon tracks in some areas.
What you got, Sheriff?
Yeah, it looks like we're not the first cowboys out here looking to find this theoretical damsel in distress. I see horse tracks here. Look to be at least 2 of them here. And can I tell if they're old from yesterday or today?
They look like they're newer than the cart tracks. The cart tracks you're guessing are after the snow sometime or during the snow. It's hard to say exactly, but last couple days at the very least.
And looky here, Art, Doc. See how these wagon wheels head off there into that underbrush, that growth? These horses crisscross back, forth, to the left, right. Them there horses are following the wagon, so either another traveler on this road is blindly guided off the path, or we're not the only one after this damsel in distress. Theoretical.
Perhaps we should just keep going. Keep our eyes peeled.
Bill just kind of nod silently and continue.
Yeah, you head further down the trail there, and or off the trail, I should say. At some point, the wagon tracks you're following them just directly. They never seem to go away for too long. So it's like you're just following like a little trail over and over and over again. It'd take you about an hour out now.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like anybody's doing any hiding, that's for sure. And if you guys want to give me a perception roll or a survival roll, let you choose.
Let's see here. Perception's probably higher.
Oh, Mr. Tucker.
And as they're going along, Tucker says, "Oh boy!" And kind of pats his horse and rears it to the side and points down here. Looky here. Giant pile of fresh steaming bear scat. Steer clear of this. Now, might only be horses and wagons out here, but now we are trailing a bear. This trip keeps getting better all the time, boys.
Well, luckily these horses should be able to pick that up as we mosey through.
Are the horses anxious at all?
Go ahead and give me a animal handling.
Oh, time to use that. Mine's low, but animal handling. There we go.
Damn, you're rolling quite well. Yeah, they're acting a little anxious, you think.
And Bill has the reins of his horse with his left hand and removes his pistol with his right.
Yeah, seeing that, Arthur would go ahead and pull out his rifle and holding the reins with the one hand.
Hey, Doc, you armed?
Surgical tools.
Do you know what a bear is?
Something I've got no interest in coming to be a part of. Aye.
I don't think they're scared of scalpels and forceps, sir.
Well, then I imagine I'll be leaving this one to you, gentlemen, if we come across it, eh?
I got a backup sidearm here if you need it.
Yeah. Do you trust a man who's never shot a gun before?
Well, stick by my side. If it comes to it, I'll hand it to you. It's loaded. You just point it and shoot, okay?
All right.
Yeah, just make sure you pull back that hammer first.
Which part is the hammer exactly?
Tucker just looks at Art. You ever shot a gun before?
Well, Arthur kind of shake his head. Well, the hammer is the part at the top back there. And he just lays his rifle across his lap, pulls out his sidearm there, and points to where the hammer would be. It just pulls back just like this. And then he'll pull it back, cock it. Then it's just point and shoot.
All right. Seems simple enough. No wonder business is so good out here, huh?
With that, Arthur will holster back his gun. Well, I don't think we need to go around trying to flush this bear out. If he's going to be around, I'm sure he'll present himself. Maybe we could smell him before we run into him. Peculiar stench to them.
Yeah. I'll pay attention to the woods, but I'll even pay more attention to Dapple Gray here. That's my horse's name is Dapple.
You keep going. You don't see any. You run over some bear scat every once in a while, but you don't see any signs of it just yet. You do, however, hear and see. Well, you see smoke, and you hear the crinkling of fire up ahead. And let me switch this scene for you. Uno momento. You see two men at a fire sitting at it, warming their hands. Behind them is a tent and a cart.
Oh, look, it's Bloomin' Jones. We're still on our horses here.
Yep, unless you don't want to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bill will kind of take his horse up as close as he can get, while still maintaining cover behind the trees. They get a good look at what's going on and scout out the area. He's going to look for any signs of a struggle because he sees a wagon there and two men. He's going to look and see if the men look injured or if there is anything else untoward going on that he knows of.
It's pretty self-explanatory. None of them look injured. One gets up and he throws out something out of a cup, probably some sort of liquid. He seems to be walking fine. The other one is sitting there with his hands next to the fire. You see that wheel closest to you might have some issues on the wagon. You're not sure if it's a broken axle or what, but you see that there's like a big wooden hammer out, like they've been trying to work on it. Somebody has, at least.
Well, Art, looks like we at least found the wagon. He kind of points ahead.
Man, well, those are some pretty ugly damsels, Sheriff, if you ask me.
Yeah. It's the facial hair. I think it's to the doc's liking, though.
No, I'm more for French and feminine, thank you.
French, you know. Ah, here, there. Don't shave their underarms there, and, well, all sorts of despicable.
Well, I've only been in France since I've been here, but those underarms are shaved as well as everywhere else, so
Oh!
can't complain.
Oh, Dr. Darrell, maybe someday then, after we're rich and famous, you can take me on a trip there and see.
Oh, you want to go to any trip? France is right there in the Madam's Tavern.
You're a man of many words, Doctor, and I'm a fan of all of them.
The question is, Sheriff, are you a fan of these folks here?
Well, I guess that remains to be seen. Well, we really don't know what happened at this point. Hey, Art, how about you and the doc maybe hang back and circle around in case they get into trouble? You can make yourselves known, but perhaps there's a kinder, gentler explanation for all this.
Yeah, I suppose me and the doc here going into that bush over there on the left would probably be the best way to go about it.
I'll defer to you, gentlemen. I'm not familiar with this sort of clandestine activity.
Yeah, well, I'll stay on old Dapple here in case I need to make a quick getaway, and let's go see what these folks are up to.
So with that, Arthur's gonna start heading towards the left there.
Mm-hmm.
Stay on the horse though, till he gets there, then he'll get off.
Darrell following.
Yeah, they don't seem to be paying much attention in that direction. They're talking only when... Are you on your horses still, or are you getting off?
Once I'm getting over there, I'll be getting off. That way, if the shooting starts, the horse doesn't get skittish and throw off my aim.
Mm-hmm.
Let's roll a 31 for animal handling. You're fine. And Tuck will... kind of ride out here.
Yeah, as you ride out, it's pretty obvious they both turn and stand up immediately. The one to your left yells out, "Well, who's that there? Stay back." There's a rifle on the ground at his feet, but he pulls back his jacket. He's got a pistol on his hip.
Tucker kind of moseys forward a couple clicks there. Clip, clop, clip, clop. Oh, good afternoon, boys. Sheriff Tucker here. Bill Tucker. Who might you be? We're out here looking for a missing persons, and I saw the smoke. Just wanted to swing by and make sure you were safe. On the way out in these hills, saw an awful lot of bear scat. Wanted to make sure you didn't end up in the belly of one of them beasts.
They look at each other, then look back to Tucker. We got a right to be out here. Ain't bothering nobody.
Oh, I didn't say you didn't. Didn't say you didn't. Just want to make you all okay. Hey, boys, is that your wagon?
He just nods.
Kind of come a little closer, just kind of read his face and
Sure.
see if they look a little suspicious. So he's kind of fully out of the woods now with the firelight kind of glinting up on his face. And I want to see if any of them look nervous or detect lies.
Yeah, you can detect lies on him.
Let's see here. That's going to be social, I think.
Empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Well.
Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah, you think they're looking a little nervous. You hear somebody say, "Who is that out there?" And one of them, like the one on your right, turns around and goes, "Hush, hush." He's saying something towards the tent.
He says, look awful nervous there, boys. Was it something I said? Or maybe you're scared of bears?
The one that's been talking, the one on your left, says, "We just ain't expecting any company.
Oh, I see.
Our friend's shy."
Yeah, I certainly can't pose a threat. There's just one of me. There's two of you. Is that right? Just two of you?
There's somebody in the tent.
Why don't you tell them to come on out? Say hi. Meet the new sheriff in town, huh?
You're the new sheriff then. You're not Gunderson.
That's right. Gundy met an early end, but he was a righteous man. I could say I'm not as good of a man, but I'm just as good of a shot. Now, tell the boy in the tent to come on out. I'm looking for a missing fella by the name of Taggert.
"Oh, that's me," you hear somebody say, and the men next just like look aghast that somebody's done that he's called out, and he steps out of the tent. It's a man with a heavy beard and a wide hat. He's got a sizable belly. He smacks it. I'm Taggert Thompson."
Good afternoon, Mr. Thompson. Oh, you've been awfully missed in town. Seems like you were late for an appointment with Miss Dunn.
The guys look at each other and their hands get closer to their weapons. Taggert just says, "Oh, yeah, well, sorry, you can tell her the deal's off, I guess."
Well, that's some sort of businessman you are, Mr. Thompson. It just don't seem quite right to me to break off a contract like that and disappear in the woods, off a trail, camping in the middle of bear country with two men who look like they just wet themselves.
The one on your left, "Wet myself, huh? Listen, mister, he's here. He's fine. Can you go now?"
What were my instructions here for Thompson?
I mean, you didn't have
Just
it.
to find
It was
him?
he was just a missing person. Man,
Just a missing person.
you're the sheriff.
Now think here what I want to do. Ah. Well, I suppose you have just as right as anybody to be a good-for-nothing lout. I suppose nobody will do business with you from now on. I'll take that message right to Miss Dunn.
One of the men says, I'd prefer if you just didn't talk to her.
Yeah. What might be your name, sir?
You can call me Jones.
Yeah, Mr. Jones. It's my own counsel that I'll keep about my own business and the business of this town. And who's your buddy there on the right?
That's Mr. Bloom.
Mr. Jones, Mr. Bloom, Mr. Taggett.
And what's your name? I don't know any of the deputies.
Sheriff Bill Tucker.
Bill Tucker.
I done told you once already.
Well, Mr. Tucker, let me inform you something. I don't think you quite know what's happening here, and you going to blab people in town's just not a wise idea. So I ask you again, if you're going to go, which you should, just keep this meeting to yourself.
Well, I'd be more than happy to leave you out here in the middle of bear country, but yeah, I'm not going to be bullied by no man telling me what to do without a good reason. Now, if there's some reason you don't want me to tell your business to Miss Dunn, let it be known.
Well, you see, we're not sure who we can trust. And if you're coming out here at Mrs. Dunn's behest, well, that doesn't sound too good to us.
Mrs. Dunn did lodge a complaint. Any other missing persons that goes unfound in these here parts, I'd be out on the trail as well. Me and Dapple here.
Well, if you head in town, I would ask again not to say anything. Taggert's looking very nervous at this point.
Are they still having their hands by their...
Oh, yes, they definitely are.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody starts to look, I'm just kind of I'm just waiting them out. Bill kind of wants them to draw on him, but he's the new sheriff in town. He needs to uphold the law. And he is a law-abiding man, so he's not going to draw unless he's drawn upon. But at the same time, he realizes the situation's getting awful intense.
Yeah,
so.
They aren't drawing.
Arthur, seeing it getting kind of tense, he's going to want to move into the bush a little close so you kind of get a good bead on him.
Yeah, go ahead and do that and give me a stealth roll.
Alright, what's stealth under here?
Agility. It's pretty good. Shoot.
And of course, he's going to have his rifle already leveled at the Jones there.
Yeah, they don't seem to hear anything. Well, Mr. Tucker, you gonna ride off or stare at us a while?
Well, they're prettier sights to stare at, Mr. Jones, Mr. Bloom, but I get the distinct feeling if I turn my back on you, I'll have a bullet in it.
Well, I don't think you're right about that. Don't shoot men in the back.
All right, then. You boys have a good evening. Starts to kind of back out. Very gingerly, very slowly.
Yeah, they're just watching. Taggert goes up to Jones and leans in and whispers something, and Jones just kind of waves him off.
Just kind of continues to walk his horse back.
Yeah, they let you go. If they're watching the entire time.
He'll kind of head back out. Kind of turn his horse broadside to him and kind of looking down that way at the flickering fire. And then look to his left. Arthur and Darrow are.
Yeah, seeing the sheriff get out of there safely, Arthur's gonna head back towards his mount and hop on it. Get ready to turn it around. Only he's not gonna be quiet about it. He's gonna let those guys know that there was more out in the woods.
Yeah, they're watching intently.
Yeah, the doctor will fall in behind presently.
And Tuck kind of looks over his shoulder as they kind of fade from view, the three men.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "How much you boys hear that conversation?"
Sounds kind of tense, Sheriff.
Yeah. We found our missing man, but I don't think appearances are deceiving, Arthur. Something's going on here more than a business deal.
Well, I tend to agree on that one, Sheriff. They're up to something. How much do you want to go looking into it?
Well, we'll be able to tell quite a bit on how Miss Dunn reacts when we tell her that her business partner is making like a squatter in the woods with two sweaty palmed men.
You ever see any of those men before?
Don't reckon I have, Art.
That makes everything even more peculiar. That means they haven't been through town then.
Mm-hmm. Well, I apologize, Doc. I expected to find Mr. Taggert half-eaten by a bear. Expected you to get maybe one amputation out of this whole affair.
Oh, we're still in the woods. Plenty of time for someone to need an amputation. Hopefully not me.
Hopefully not me.
Yeah, I think I'll lean to agree with both statements there and include myself in.
Why don't you guys give me a perception roll? Oh man.
Oh my.
Yeah, I'm rolling like shit for the good ones.
Doesn't matter though. Gosh.
Yeah, so the doctor is going to put his pipe up and stops abruptly. And how close is that?
30 feet.
Yeah, he stops and, hold on a minute, lads. And he's going to point. I saw something big and burly right there.
No doubt that's our friendly neighborhood bear right now.
Oh. Is it so? Bill takes his gun out again.
Arthur will follow suit with his rifle.
Dr. Darrow's going to pull in, putting the officers between him and the bear.
Yeah, I would like everyone to give me a handle animal or ride check, if they would.
Oh, shit.
We all hitting the ground.
Whichever you would like.
Let's see here.
What are the choices again?
Ride or handle animal. Handle animal is intelligence, I believe, and ride is agility.
I think my
Right.
ride. That too, right. Oh!
Yep. Let me go ahead and roll low for everybody.
Let's see. I'm gonna roll. Yeah, that's good enough. I think you all. Give me one sec here. You're able to stay on your horse. Let me switch the scene real quick. Give me 2 seconds.
Looks like there's a murder up there, Sheriff.
Is there another map you can see? Oh, yeah.
That skull is massive. That's a meter-wide skull.
Sure glad the bear got them first.
Cowboys and aliens in the beginning.
They used to be giants. They used to be giants, man.
It's Yeti, Sasquatch. All right. So you see this bear just kind of make its way somewhat towards you. And we'll go ahead and roll initiative. You can kind of see behind it there's some bear cubs. Alright, give me a sec. Let me clear everything here. Alright, turn order should be good. So go ahead and roll your initiative. It should be in your combat menu.
Maybe we ought to just scare it off, Sheriff.
Tuck just sees the size of this bear and slowly holsters his 6-shooter and takes out his rifle.
Yeah, that's fine. Alright, let's see. Well, it has the initiative, so let's see how far away you
Somebody
are.
needs to get eaten. You get the doc something to do.
Oh, don't worry, he can amputate my arm when it gets mauled, I'm sure.
If I'm still here.
Run. So
Might be.
can't charge far enough. Yeah, so it just it's gonna run towards you. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It just barrels towards you, running, and that's gonna give you -5 to hit as it's running, and that spends 5 AP for it. Doc, you're up.
I'm gonna run in the other direction. Yeah, upon seeing the bear going full bore and him being in a good position behind.
Yeah, you're in a horse. You can
Sheriff
pretty
and
much
the-
go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and. This is all flat ground. It's not uphill or anything.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of uphill, but it's fine.
Okay. And then how far can I go on the horse?
You could probably go 20 hexes on a horse. I'd have to look at their stats, but something like that.
I'm gonna go ahead and put some respectable distance between myself and the bear, and move 10
Okay.
away.
Yep, you can do that for alright, it's just 3. Alright, go ahead, Bill.
Oh, here it comes! Art! Kind of, this thing charges him. Do I gotta make a ride or a handling check? Cause
Yeah, you're on
it's not horse.
your horse, so let me get them out of
Yeah,
the
'cause-
combat rules real quick. So alright, so
I think he'd be like frightened or startled, maybe, or something.
yeah, so let me go to it real quick. So shooting a two-handed weapon on a horse is 2 hardships. So
If I don't move.
it's still 2 hardships. Well, actually, hold on. Where is that? There should be. Yeah, penalties. No movement. No penalty. You can just shoot.
Just shoot him.
But now you do have a hardship for being too close with a rifle, though.
Oh boy, shouldn't have done that.
And your additional mods is a -5 because it's running.
-5. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess I could probably kind of swing out and kind of try to shoot him.
Yeah, just remember there's no real move and attack options with a ranged weapon.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and take a shot then.
Okay. So when it asks for a hardship, put 1 in there, and then when it asks for additional mods, put a -5. Yep. Now, before you do that, though, you can aim, right? So it moved 5, so you could aim up to 4 and then shoot, and that's going to give you 4 benefits.
Let's do that then.
Yeah. All right. So you're going to aim for 4, and then it would be actually Sim's turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. Sim, it is your turn. It's actually well. Yeah. Go ahead. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So narratively, it's barreling down on us, and I just have just looking down the sights of the rifle.
Mm-hmm. You have your rifle out too, right?
Yeah, that I do. And I'll be aiming, of course.
You gonna do the same thing then?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay.
Get the best shot possible.
Yeah. Darrow, you're up if you want to do anything different.
Throw your
No, this looks
scalpel.
good.
Okay.
This looks good.
Okay.
Your scalpel. You have any chloroform?
That would
I'm not getting anywhere near that.
There's a head here.
You boys have fun with that that big beast.
All right, go ahead, Tucker. Now you can shoot. So now you're going to give yourself 4 benefits, 1 hardship, and -5 on the additional mods. And when it asks you for your range, you are in point blank range.
Oh.
That is a big hit. So that's 26. 26 plus okay, so it's 38 to the torso. That is above its mortality roll, just so it's going to have to make a death roll. Let's find out. So it has to beat what did I say? 20, no. Hold on, sorry. 26, 36, 38. Wow, it has to beat a 38. It does.
Oh.
So you shoot it right in the chest, but he's just coming straight forward still.
Come on, Art. Finishing.
Give me a second here. My API has crashed again. Been having nothing but trouble lately. Injury and a wound. Okay. So it'd be the same for you. 4 benefits,
Right.
1 hardship, point blank, -5.
Big roll, big money, big money.
Additional mod would be -5.
Yep.
Point blank.
That's a 6. That's an 18. That is enough to give him a wound. It hits him in the torso, yeah. So this one hits it as well, but it still doesn't appear to be slowing down just yet. So, boy, it's hurt though. One sec. So 7, Darrow's just chilling up there. One sec. What's this thing? All right, so it's gonna actually do a charge action. Oh man, actually it's at 5, so actually it's just gonna move up 1. That'll put it at 6 AP, and then it's going to recklessly attack, I think. Yeah, so that takes away the running thing, so it no longer has that. And then the reckless attack is 4 AP, so that would put him at 10. Well, let me see what reckless attack, exactly how that works. Yeah, 3 benefits. Yep. So here it's gonna swing at Tucker. Combat menu.
I'm gonna get disemboweled here.
Bear claw.
Get dock some work.
Hardships. Okay, so you can dodge. For that, let me see. Mounted. How does that work exactly? I think you can do just a dodge roll.
Straight up dodge.
Mm-hmm.
Combat menu. Dodge.
It starts playing the sad music when you dodge.
No.
Hey!
Wow.
Sad for the bear.
Yeah, it just
Shifty.
swings and just misses. And now it has a hardship to its defense roll. Another one.
I hop onto my feet onto the back of the horse like a Legolas.
Yeah, you're able to.
No, he just kind of pulls the horse around and just barely misses. Like maybe it rips his legging, you know.
Mhm.
And he the horse is kind of spinning around.
Yep. It's your guys' turn again.
My turn still. Is it Doc's?
It would be. It's technically. Doc's is 8. It's your turn.
Yep.
All right. So how many APs does that bear have?
He has. I think he's at 10.
I want to aim up to the point to make sure I can go again.
You can aim twice to get to 9.
I'll do that then.
Okay. All right. Arthur, what would you like to do?
We'll do the same. Follow suit and aim twice. Because that should be at the same AP, right?
Yeah. I want to look at opportunity attack real quick. Yeah, that's just if you move. Yep, okay. Darrow, are you doing anything up there, or are you just chilling?
Watching to see how the fight goes.
Just getting his medical supplies ready.
Yeah, I did. I have the bag on the side ready to go because looking at this beast, I've only seen them in books. So this is rather intriguing, but also terrifying.
Will you give me a perception roll?
I can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you hear kind of behind you the sound of someone approaching. As you look over your shoulder, you see a figure moving in your direction to your north.
That bloomin' bastard!
Armed?
He is armed.
Into the trees I go.
Yeah, it would be your turn. You can.
Yep, I am going into the trees. I'm going to try to obscure myself from all this madness. That Dr. Darrow is regretting his decision to come out to this this event.
Just a missing person.
Yep.
And oh fuck, more trouble! And he starts diving off into the trees.
All right, Lawman, would you like to shoot this bear?
Absolutely would, and he kind of aims down the sights and says, "LeClaire Sheriff's Office needs a new rug." And he pulls the trigger.
So 2 benefits, and that's it. Or 1 hardship from being too close.
Bear. If it's 2. Hardship 1. Come on, baby. 22.
Hit it. Yep, hit it easy. So 14. Or I'm sorry, not 14. 16. 28. 28 is enough to give it a wound. Torso strike, yeah. Okay. All right, Mr. Yeah, you shoot it and it's getting ripped to pieces, but it's not falling. This behemoth in front of you.
Hey, Cujo here.
Go ahead, Arthur.
Big bear. Alright. Arthur's gonna go ahead and level his rifle and take another shot.
Two benefits, 1 hardship. Yeah, that's enough to kill it. How does it look?
So as he's reeling back from, well, maybe not reeling back from being shot again, torso, Arthur is taking that moment to go ahead and plug another bullet into an exposed flank there. Stick it, son of a bitch. And lets it off.
Yeah, Dara, you see this guy's hustling down. The other 2 probably are very not really seeing this guy, but you do.
Yeah, as I see that, I see them put the bear down.
Yeah, you see it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gunshots drew these boys in.
Yeah, so he looks at the bear and sees it go down, and he yells out from the bushes, "Tucker, behind you!" And he will duck back into the bushes.
What? What is it, Doc? And he kind of wheels around his horse, clip-clopping just through the mud, and maybe the horse is a little skittish and pulling back from the bear as it goes down. He spins around and sees Bloom.
Yeah, he's got a rifle in his hand, and he's just running towards you at this moment.
And I'll start to aim at him, and I'll say, "Bloom! This bear's down. We don't need your help."
And he actually stops, and he's like, wait! And he puts his hands up with his rifle kind of waving above his head. "Don't shoot!"
How about you lay down that rifle then?
He spits some chaw on the ground. He's like, "Well, that's a pretty nice way to greet somebody coming to help." He does so, though. He lays the rifle down.
Well, I don't think the ground's gonna hurt it none.
He puts it down. Fine. Tell that yellow fellow over there he can come out of the bushes.
Doctor comes out.
Arthur. Oh, good.
He'll prim himself big, brush off some of the leaves, and take up a spot next to the lawman as if nothing happened.
Arthur's gonna reload his rifle.
I ain't wishing you any harm, boys. Just following you and taking a peek at what you're up to and what you're saying.
Tuck kind of, as he's talking, he kind of reaches down his gun belt for some more ammo, and kind of looks at Bloom, and looks over at Arthur. Arthur, you still have your rifle trained on the guy?
Arthur is reloading.
Yeah, his rifle is at his feet, Bloom's.
Okay. Yeah, so Tuck kind of grips his horse with his heels and kind of grabs a couple bullets and reloads his rifle as he clops into the stream.
Yeah, Bloom's.
And now listen. Go
No,
ahead.
he's watching you. Just
Now I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Bloom, and I'm going to tell you something once, and I want it to be real clear. And he has one of the bullet casings and taps his badge with it, and you can hear that tinny sound before he slides it to his rifle. Now, I'm the new sheriff in town, so I got to follow the law. But there was a day that, well, if I found you out here in the woods looking real shifty, yeah, it might not have ended this way. So this one thing I'm going to tell you is this. I'm going to do what I'm going to do back in town. You don't have a word to say about it. But what I don't want you to see is you or that boy Jones or Taggert in LeClaire again.
he's like, "Sir, would you mind if I produce something out of my jacket pocket?"
Man, it slowly nods, kind of aim at him, just make sure he doesn't pull a pistol out.
Yeah, he has one hand up and very slowly, in the kind of very cinematic fashion, pulls something out, and instead of a weapon, it's actually kind of like a billfold, and he says, "These are my papers. I'm a federal agent. Marshal. Out of Texas."
Tuck moves a little bit closer to inspect the papers.
Yeah, you can't really see him from here. You'd have to get up next to him.
Yep.
When you come over, he just reaches up and hands them to you. You look down, and his name's Jeffrey Bloom, and it says he's a marshal. And look, you can do a career roll.
All right. Combo.
That
skill
is
menu.
out of knowledge. You could do investigation too. I'd be okay with that. Whichever you would like.
What's career or investigation?
Yeah, whichever.
Skills. What's investigation under intelligence?
Yeah,
Probably. That's pretty good. It's 2. I don't think I have better than that.
Yeah, it's definitely legit. It's a picture of him. Black and white picture.
Yeah, he lowers his voice here. What's the appropriate agent? Or
Marshal.
Marshal Jones or Marshal Bloom. Why didn't you say so back there?
Didn't know who we could trust. Not sure I can trust you still, but you weren't prattling on when you left here.
Yeah. You can trust me to follow the law, Marshal. I don't know if you heard about anything been going on in LeClaire these past few days, but people there, they're mighty heartsick. Lost a sheriff. Gunfights, outlaws running through towns. This hasn't happened in many years in LeClaire.
Well, let me tell you.
Now we
Let me,
got some marshals
let
showing
me
up.
tell you, Sheriff. It's no coincidence. Those boys behind you, can you trust them?
As far as I know, they're trustworthy.
As far as you know. Well, sir, let me tell you. We're out here investigating some murders and some fraud. You see this Jezebel done, we do have on good authority that she likely killed her husband and her brother-in-law.
Is that right? And do I know anything about the family?
You would just know that those two did die several months back in an accident.
Mines are prone to accidents, Marshal. I didn't have any reason to believe otherwise at the time.
Well, we didn't either until we were contacted by one of her help. Her name's, I think she goes by Rosie. And we did hear a rumor about Taggert there, selling his mine to her. We had somebody in the Prestons as well. Fed us the information, we collected him. We're going to try to get information off of her that would insinuate herself, and then we can make the rest.
Is that right?
Well, that's the plan, unless you go into town and start blabbing about it. But you have to see it from our side. We didn't know who she's bought.
So what you planning to do with Taggert here?
Well, the plan is to have him engage in conversation with her and find out more information from her mouth, anything that we can hold her on. If it's fraud, so be it. We'll get it out of her. We're coming up with a plan. If you have something, I'd hear it.
Well, Tucker looks back at the bear and the doctor. We do got a broken wagon. We got a bear. And we have a man that's been missing for 2 days. It all makes sense to me. Bring him on back into town. We got a perfect cover story as long as we can trust Mr. Callum here, and that there's Arthur Sexton.
Can't say I know any of yous, but me and Agent Jones, Marshal, can't be running around the town. Got to keep a low profile.
I think Tuck would implicitly trust the Marshal.
Yeah, you're almost you're about 110% sure that he's definitely a marshal of some sort.
Yeah. He kind of continue and say, yeah, Arthur here, he's been with me through some tough times. I don't think he's going to betray me now, but both these men they need money, and they need a place to stay after all this is over. I think if that was promised to them, it would definitely ensure their loyalty.
A bribe then, huh?
Not necessarily a bribe, but a reward for a crime solved.
Well, what do you boys think?
That might have came out wrong. I'm basically just...
No, I got it. He just calls over your shoulder. Well, what do you say, boys?
Well, and Arthur's kind of think for a moment. I reckon that it'd be a great boon to be able to be comfortable for a little while, but you do have my trust without it.
As long as I'm left in a position I can still practice medicine, I've got no objections.
Oh, we won't take away your livelihood there, Doc. You boys can head back into town. You can take Taggert with you too. That's fine. But I'd like you to keep an eye on him, just so Mrs. Dunn doesn't get to him before we can come up with a proper plan.
Well, I reckon one of those jail cells would be a nice cozy place for somebody.
Don't know that would make sense that he'd be put in jail, sir.
That'd raise some questions. On the other hand, if his wagon broke and he was hunted by a bear for 2 days, hiding in a tree, He very well could have suffered from exposure, and don't you think, Doc, that he could deal with a couple days of rest in a doctor's office?
Oh, I suppose it wouldn't be too much trouble as long as it's at the county's expense.
Well, how about the federal government's expense? He pulls out some cash dollars out of his billfold. Looks like he's got a total of 20, which is, several $100s in today's speak. He passes over to Bill. You can give that there to the doc and split it up however you feel that this would help the town, cover your costs, all that stuff.
Absolutely, Marshal Bloom. You can count on me. Count on them.
Good. Well, another thing I'd ask, since we're having to be so sneaky about these parts, is I would ask that you try to find Mrs. Dunn's maid. Bring her into town and keep an eye on her as well. If you can pass her off to us, that'd be wonderful. At some point.
How am I going to communicate with you here, Marshal? Smoke signals?
I'll come into town tomorrow, we'll say. I'll go to, well, what's that whorehouse in town?
I believe they call it the Jewel.
Alright, I'll go in there. And, you be there, let's say noon. You can give me a nod if she's about. And then I can whisk her away. Maybe have her, where would be a suitable place? In the hotel, maybe?
I think that can be arranged. Yeah.
Well, let's say, you know the hotel better than me. Give me a room number where she'd be staying. And you can just pick one, whatever.
No, room 23, right at the top. At the end of the hallway, it's a nice private room. Only one window.
Perfect. So I'll walk in there. You give me a nod. And I'll have a drink. I'll skedaddle. Go collect Rosie. And then we'll see what happens from there. Got to have enough evidence to bring her in. She's got a lot of money. Probably fine lawyers, all that.
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, Marshal, what type of evidence you got on her?
Mostly all circumstantial currently. We have looked over the scene of the crime, supposedly. There's not really much to be said. We do. Actually, now thinking of it, Doctor, were you in town when the deaths occurred of Mr. Dunn and Mr. Dunn?
Oh, I was. I was present, accounted for.
Did you perform an autopsy, sir?
I believe I did, didn't I?
I believe you did. That's what Matt told me.
I did.
Anything unusual?
I looked it over, not by my reckoning, but then again, at the time it seemed fairly certain what cause of death was. I wasn't necessarily looking for things suspicious. Miss Dunn is a nicely old sort.
Well, fair enough. Well, we definitely got some work to do, but Rosie's word, she might have more. She just got out a couple-page note to us, so it'd be better if we were able to talk to her.
Well, I'll get Rosie to the Jewel directly.
Noon tomorrow. I do appreciate it, Sheriff. And I'll go collect Tucker for you. If you guys want to come back to the camp, you can. We'll fix up the wagon. We're almost done with it, honestly.
Tucker nods.
You head back, and after a while, get the wagon sorted, and one of you can drive it. Head back to town. Put you back on the...
Put that bear in the wagon.
You want to skin it? You could skin it if you wanted to.
Yeah, we gotta prove the story.
Yeah, that's true. You can skin that thing, sure.
Yeah, we'd stop. We'd probably show up with that thing to prove ourselves. Because we wouldn't go to the trouble of finding a bear and killing it just to prove a point.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Alright. Hidden back. So they leave you be unless you have anything to say to them. Taggert's with you now. And if you have any final-ish roleplay, we can do it here.
So, while they're on the trail, Arthur's going to canter up to Tucker. Well, Sheriff, looks like some pretty heavy stuff about to go on around here.
Yep. You ready to be involved now, Art?
Well, it's all the same. I'm come to get the liking you. I can get along with you. I hate to see something happen to you.
Oh, shucks. Lots happened to me in my life, Art. Getting involved with a crazy widow, well, that ain't the least of it.
Well, I get the feeling that if it was just a crazy widow, I wouldn't have two marshals coming around here stalking about.
Touche, Mr. Sexton. Touche. You hear that, Doc? French.
Oh, aye, French.
Speaking of French, how about we head on back to the saloon? I believe I owe you two some drinks.
Yes, I could do a shot of whiskey to you deputizing me and me making the same mistake I made back in Kansas, I'm sure.
Taggert says, well, I'll take some whiskey, too.
Oh, well, Mr. Thompson, you're going to be picked up in a hospital bed, exposure and all that, but I can certainly slip you some whiskey.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess that I have to do. I can't look at the pretty ladies, so I guess I'll just drink by myself.
Oh, you underestimate my powers, Mr. Thompson, as if I can't get a young lass to come by from the jewel to me home. I have arrangements, don't worry.
He raises his eyebrows. Well, that just sounds just dandy. Ha! I'm awful nervous about all this, boys.
I'm sure it'll be no problem. Let us put your mind at ease.
He nods. Well, I'll thank you, Doctor.
Pull my pipe out and light it.
They finally head out of the woods onto the low hills and plains. And maybe as the scene closes, Bill Tucker looks into the trees and sees a spider web. In that web, a black widow.
All right.
That's a pretty hardy black widow.
All right, and that's where we'll end it. Heading back to town.
The Black Widow.